As the face-off at Pangong So continues, stunning revelation by BJP's Ladakh MP.
एक्चुअल जो ओरिजिनली बॉर्डर का जो रेजिडेंट है उन्हीं लोगों को वहां सारे फैसिलिटीज दे के बिठाने की जरूरत है.
The Congress was quick to hit back.
भाजपा की विदेश नीति और राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा नीति बिल्कुल कमजोर है.
India quietly but firmly tells China to withdraw to its side of the line of actual control. But is India a divided house taking on the Chinese aggression? That's our top focus on India First.
Very politely but firmly, India has told China that they need to withdraw to the other side of the line of actual control. Whether it's at petrol point 14, 15, 17 or from finger 4 to finger 8 at the line of actual control near Pangong So. But this is easier said than done. There has been some tactical and a very slight move back by the Chinese forces. But don't celebrate just as yet. But in such a situation, should the Congress and the BJP be sparring, or should India be presenting a united face? That's our top focus story. Also on the show, how Pakistan, especially Karachi, got spooked last night. There was a total blackout in Karachi. I'll get to that story. But first, as always, the headlines. But our top focus story on the broadcast is how Karachi got spooked last night. Apparently, there was a total blackout in Karachi. Journalists in Karachi kept tweeting that there was an apprehension that there was a Balakot 2 or a Balakot-like airstrike, and Pakistani Air Force jets, according to Pakistani social media, they flew, the Mirages and the JF-17s flew combat air patrols over Pakistan's skies. Somewhere down the line, an old statement of Prime Minister Narendra Modi comes out where he'd said, "Ye dar acha hai."
Karachi went dark. The Pakistan army got into a huddle, and warplanes scrambled minutes after reports that a fighter aircraft was sighted over the port city's airspace. Rumours of a Balakot-type airstrike by the Indian Air Force set Twitter abuzz, setting off fear and confusion. Only that there was no Indian Air Force jet in Pakistani airspace. In the early hours of 26 February last year, Indian fighters swept deep into Pakistani territory and dropped bombs on terrorist camps in Balakot in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The Balakot strike showed the Indian Air Force's capabilities and intent, even as it exposed Pakistan's weak air defense systems, something that continues to unsettle the country. Prime Minister Modi said the Balakot strike had sent a strong message to Pakistan that India was not going to be a passive observer to terrorism.
आज जो ये वातावरण बना है, मैं यही कहूंगा कि ये डर अच्छा है. जब दुश्मन में भारत के पराक्रम का डर हो, तो ये डर अच्छा है.
The Indian Air Force chief too had warned that acts of terror emanating from Pakistan would face retaliatory action, as was done in Balakot.
जब तक वो आतंकवादी गतिविधियों का साथ देना बंद नहीं करते, तब तक उनको इस बात की चिंता करनी पड़ेगी कि हमारे एरिया में कोई भी टेररिस्ट एक्ट होता है तो उसका कुछ न कुछ जवाब होगा. कैंप्स को हमारी आर्मी एंड सारी एजेंसीज क्लोजली मॉनिटर करती हैं. हमें पता है वहाँ क्या हो रहा है, एंड जब कोई जरूरत पड़ी उस पर कुछ फॉलो अप एक्शन लेने की तो समय पे लिया जाएगा.
Balakot continues to haunt Pakistan, and the chaos that prevailed in Karachi on Tuesday night was evidence of that.
Pakistan has employed its early warning radar system for the ongoing exercise. Pakistan Air Force is also practicing against the possible nighttime attack like the one which happened in Balakot, operation by Indian Air Force. This is Majid Negi for India Today.
My colleague Shiv Arur now joins me for more on this story. Shiv, what happened? What is Indian Air Force saying? Why did Pakistan suddenly get so spooked in Karachi last night?
You know, if you look at social media right now, Gaurav, you've got all the Pakistani journalists, verified handles, thousands of followers, all attacking, you know, either me or you or Indian journalists who have actually fact-checked a story that originated in Pakistan by Pakistani journalists in Karachi who were obviously spooked by the blackout and some Pakistani Air Force fighters that had been scrambled at that time. You know, so it's very weird for them to first be spooked and then try and blame India. So these so-called journalists, we can put them aside for a moment. But the actual spooking of these people, and these were all verified handles that got spooked and, you know, talked about these, you know, possible air intrusion. I have a feeling that this could be a lingering effect of what happened 16 months ago in Balakot, where, you know, the actual killing of those terrorists on Jabba Top Hill was one thing, but the actual message, the strategic message was that a retaliatory attack from India for terrorism by Pakistan can come out of nowhere, you know, without warning, at a time and place of India's choosing, and Pakistan won't even see it coming. And I think the nightmare of that time continues to quake Pakistan now, or at least the journalists, you know, who were spooked and were shivering when they tweeted these things last night. So I think in many ways it is a validation in some ways of the success of Balakot. There has been some debate over how many terrorists were killed. That's small stuff. That's a separate issue. The point is, if Pakistanis are still wondering about where the next Balakot is going to happen, and if it's going to be in Karachi, then the original Balakot mission accomplished.
Oh, absolutely, Shiv. I don't think Pakistanis have forgotten how Karachi burned for 11 days in 1971. Also, the fact that India has said the next attack will not be after the terror attack, but will be preemptive if there is evidence. Shiv, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. Let's now shift focus to the more substantive story that we're covering here on India First, and that is India-China dialogue to get the Chinese soldiers to get back to their side of the line of actual control. Now, as a confidence building measure, there has been some tactical move back. Remember, this is happening at multiple places. At Galwan Nala, there's a patrol point 14, 15 and 17. Then there's Pengong. So, which is the trickier issue? To get them to go back from finger 4 to beyond finger 8. Abhishek Bhalla gets you this report.
After over a month in a tense standoff, finally a visible de-escalation. 72 hours after top commanders met on the border tension, China has dialed down the confrontation in Ladakh. Across the 4 standoff points, which have seen massing of troops on both sides, China has now reduced its presence and pulled roughly 20% of its troops and combat vehicles back by nearly 3 kilometers. The 3 points include 2 in the Galwan River Valley and a third in the hot springs area near India's Gogra post. India too has cranked back some of its deployments, the combined limited de-escalation, a confidence-building measure after over a month of volatility and aggression. Crucially, there's been no change at the 4th standoff point on the north bank of the Pangong Lake, the site where troops of both sides clashed early in May, injuring hundreds and triggering the larger mobilization and ensuing standoff. Sources said Chinese troops in large numbers have been camping at the Finger 4 area of the Pangong Tso and are being matched in deployment from the Indian side. There's been no change here. But a limited de-escalation in 3 out of the 4 standoff points is significant and comes sooner than experts expected.
This is an excellent sign, beginning reports coming in, and I think in the next few days, we're seeing resolution of this ongoing face-offs and standoffs happening in eastern Ladakh.
With a visible dialing down of tensions on the ground, the next level of talks of division commanders, major generals, could happen anytime now or later this week. While most are aware of the larger Chinese mobilization, it is less known that India has mirrored the aggression, deploying between 10 and 12,000 additional troops as part of a reserve force within Ladakh. These troops stay put for now. With Abhishek Bhalla and Manjeet Negi in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi renewed his attack on the Narendra Modi government to state facts whether Chinese are in Indian territory. BJP's MP from Ladakh, Sering Namgyal, he hit back. He said, yes, Chinese took Indian territory. He said the Chinese did that in Aksai-Chin, 37,000 square kilometers in 1962. Then again in 2008. There's a big BJP Congress war that's happening. The question is it needed at this time?
The de-escalation of tensions between India and China in eastern Ladakh has begun, but the political war of words still rages on. Renewing his attack on the Modi government, Rahul Gandhi has fired yet another salvo. The Congress MP tweeted that the Chinese have walked in and taken our territory in Ladakh and that the Prime Minister is absolutely silent and has vanished from the scene.
सत्य तो ये है कि भाजपा की विदेश नीति और राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा नीति बिल्कुल कमजोर है। आज चीन हमारे सरहद पे घुसपैठ बैठा है। आज 75% चीन की तरफ से इन्फिल्ट्रेशन बढ़ चुकी है। तो अगर राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पे प्रश्न उठाना राजनीति है, हम राजनीति करते रहेंगे।
The BJP countered Rahul Gandhi's charge, declaring that politicizing strategic issues was uncalled for.
What is the extent of Rahul Gandhi's understanding of India's strategic interest is a larger issue on which we can have a debate.
राहुल गांधी को इतनी तो समझदारी होनी चाहिए कि चीन के साथ सामरिक संबंधों पर ट्विटर से सवाल नहीं पूछा करते।
आप वही हैं जिन्होंने बालाकोट के हमले के बाद भी सबूत मांगा था।
कम से कम अभी देश में एकता रहे बहुत जरूरी।
मैं राहुल गांधी जी के मानसिकता को नहीं समझ पा रहा हूं, क्योंकि जब अपने यूपीए के सरकार था, सरकार ऑर्डिनेंस पार करते तो वो अपने सरकार के ऑर्डिनेंस को फाड़ के फेंक देते, तो अपने सरकार को वो नहीं मानते, तो ऑब्वियसली उनके लिए ये एक पॉलिटिकल मुद्दा है, लोगों को डराने के, फेयर मॉन्गरिंग फैलाने के।
Army veterans too have written to the Congress MP demanding that he not seek details of the border tension in public.
He should have realized, he should have supported the government, asked them that whatever we can do, the whole nation has got to get together. So in that, I don't know why he took it, because either he is very immature in making the statement. Nobody, a sensible person, a sensible Indian, will never make such statements.
With the opposition sharpening its weapons, even as India and China take baby steps towards de-escalation in eastern Ladakh, the question is there no political line of control when it comes to issues of national security? Bureau Report, India Today.
And let me bring in Professor Gaurav Ballabh, spokesperson of the Congress Party, and Raghav Avasthi, he's an advocate and an activist, who joins us on the broadcast. But Professor Gaurav Ballabh, is there no line of actual control when it comes to keeping India first on a situation like this? There are generals who are saying, veterans of course, that at this time India needs to present a united face. Is this the best time to ask a question, and that too on Twitter?
See, Gaurav, it's not started today or yesterday. It all started as per the news reports from the 5th of May. And there is all sort of news reports coming from ex-army chiefs, ex-lieutenant generals who were GOC command of Northern Command GOC, that China had made serious transgression into Indian territory at 3 points, at Ladakh and Sikkim. That's not what I am saying. But why government can't issue that, okay, this is the position, this is 35th day, 35 days had passed, and what is the position, where we are? Had Chinese entered into the our occupied area pre-1st April 2020 in the Galwan Valley? Because mind it, Galwan Valley is important strategically also, because this is a supply line for the Karakoram Pass, where our troops are there. Had Chinese entered into the Pangong Tso Lake, how much area they had occupied? We want these questions. It is not that BJP versus Congress. The entire country is together. We want that 1 inch bhi Bharat maa ki zameen bahar nahi jani chahiye. That is the simple logic. It is not that BJP versus Congress. Entire country
is
united.
There merit?
Why
is there
Modi
merit
is not
in
speaking anything on that?
Jamyang Sering Namgyal, who's the BJP MP from Ladakh, who said, when Rahul Gandhi asked that are Chinese in our territory, he says, yes, the Chinese are in our territory, 37,000 square kilometers in Aksai-Chin since 1962. Also in Demchok, since 2008, and his implication is both times there was a Congress government when the Chinese took Indian territory.
Gaurav, he is talking about 1962, which is 15th year post-independence, and why he wants to undermine the courage and bravery of Indian Army. That time also, post 15th year of independence, we fought the battle. We fought the battle. In 1967, our army entered into the Chinese premise, killed more than 450 Chinese soldiers. Why he wants to undermine the Indian army? Why he wants to undermine the bravery of Paramveer Chakra Vijeta Major Shaitan Singh? Why he wants to undermine the courage and bravery of Lieutenant Colonel Dhan Singh Thapa, who gave their lives saving Bharat Mata? Why he wants to do this thing? I just want to remind him that in 2012 and 2013, when Dansang's issue happened, we had ensured status quo. And we are demanding only one single sentence, that status quo for pre-1st April 2020 should be restored. 1 inch Bharat ki zameen hum nahi jaane denge. That is the simple thing. And he is giving 62, 67. Arey Major Shaitan Singh ka apman mat kariye.
ठीक है, राघव अवस्थी, respond to that. Whatever may have happened in 1962, well, in 2020, the story is different. What's happening now is what the Congress party is asking, Raghav Avasthi.
I think as an Indian, first of all, Mr. Gaurav Vallabh said something very important, which is that the last time India and China actually had a military engagement was in 1967, when the Indian army totally worsted the Chinese. And I think this is an achievement that all of us in India, irrespective of which political party we belong to, should be proud of. I think this is the reason why the Chinese have not dared to fire a bullet in anger at the border, irrespective of who it is who has been in power, be it the BJP, the Congress and Janata Party, whoever it is. But what I find slightly disturbing is that Mr. Gaurav Vallabh wants to quote one particular Lieutenant General who had been GOC Northern Command, and who's somebody who is known, I'm not going to name him, and who's somebody who's known for his visceral hatred of the Modi government, else, including his own government.
It's not the point about a Lieutenant General. Forget what a Lieutenant General or a full Colonel or some civilian may be writing. That's not the point. The government, that is what Rahul Gandhi is saying. Let the government state facts. If the Chinese have transgressed, how much have they transgressed? What are we doing to tell them to go back so that the country can stand united? Why is that not happening?
Exactly. This is why high-level military and diplomatic engagement is going on. But as far as we are concerned, there has been no incursion into our side of the LAC. There is absolutely no question of that. If there were an incursion, there would be bullets flying in anger at the border. The fact is that there might be some differing perception as to where the LAC actually is.
That's not the point. The Chinese are today at finger 4. India's claim line is still finger 8, sir. On India first, we speak the truth, sir. India's claim line is still finger 8. And the Chinese need to move back to finger 8. That we have to be very clear. Of course, for the benefit of our viewers, I must also tell you that at Galwan Nala, there are indications that the Chinese are saying that they are moving back. They have moved back in some area. Petrol point 14, 15 and 17, they are moving back. We are hoping and we'll be reporting on that story whether they've moved back all the way. But the contentious issue does remain at Pengong So, finger 4 to finger 8. But Gaurav Vallabh, at this point of time, especially when the Congress has experience of hindsight, it happened when the Congress was in power. That time, you know, Salman Khurshid as External Affairs Minister had said it's a pimple or acne on a very beautiful face. Why is the Congress behaving so differently now? Stand united. Let China know whether it's the Congress or the BJP. India wants China to move back.
Gaurav, precisely that's what I'm saying. But we are in a democratic country. We want government should inform us, take us in confidence, not only political parties, even the citizens of the country. It's 35 days are over and still we are getting all sort of news, rumors, reports. I don't want to say anything. That 5,000 aage, 10,000 aage, but government should come out. Even defense minister is saying, अच्छी खासी संख्या में आगे. अरे कितने आगे? बताओ ना देश को. और क्यों आगे? और निकालो उनको बाहर. 1 इंच भी भारत माता की जमीन उनके कब्जे में नहीं जानी चाहिए. We want a simple one-liner. Status quo pre-1st April 2020. If government, Prime Minister and Defence Minister can ensure us, we are very happy. We are standing with the government. It's not that Congress party is not standing with the government. We are saying convene all party meetings. Take the expert advice from us. There are many people who had handled these type of things in 2012
why not inform the why not inform the Congress? Why not inform the Congress what is achieved with the Ladakh MP saying that 37,000 square kilometers went in Aksai when Nehru was the Prime Minister? What is the point of saying that we've lost territory in 2008 and 2013 when the UPA was in power? What is the point of saying that? Why not say whatever happened in the past, 1 inch aaj nahi jayega?
The point of saying this is that we have now learned from the mistakes that were committed during the Nehru era, and therefore we are going to take corrective measures. And secondly, as far as these confidential discussions and discussions are concerned that are happening with the Chinese, I don't think these details are something that the public is made privy to, or they are not tweeted on social media platforms. If the Congress president wants a briefing, then I'm sure if he contacts the Defense Ministry, there will be a confidential briefing for him. Having said that, what does not work is that if Congress leaders go ahead on social media and try to somehow demoralize the public by saying that there is some sort of a large-scale incursion, territory is occupied and whatnot. So I think this smacks of political opportunism, and this does not behave well when, especially when we are already facing another national emergency in the form of the crisis. Right now,
Professor Gaurav Vallabh, when Defense Minister has gone on camera, Rajnath Singh has gone on record. He told Aaj Tak that a statement will be made. It will be made in Parliament. Chinese have come in, and he did not say they've come into Indian territory. He said they have come in large numbers, and he said, you know, the sanctity of the country will be, of the LAC will be restored. If I remember correctly, he said words to the effect, ना किसी के सम्मान और आत्मसम्मान को ठेस पहुंचाएंगे, ना सहेंगे. For now, is that satisfactory for the Congress, or you want everything now and cannot wait till his statement in Parliament?
Gaurav, I am not going to say that when a Pak-sponsored terrorist entered into Bombay, the Gujarat Chief Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji at that time did a press conference at Gateway of India. We are not going to do like that. I am not going to do, and we are not going to do what Rajnath Singh ji had done when he was in the opposition in 2013 and 2014 before the election, that 2 किलोमीटर पीछे क्यों चले गए, हम पीछे क्यों आ गए, हमको आगे बढ़ जाना चाहिए, हम लाल आग दिखा देंगे. I am not going to, and Congress party doesn't believe in these rhetoric. Our simple question is very simple, that had China had made serious transgression into Indian territory in Ladakh and Sikkim, just one point. If yes,
fair enough. Let's see if the government wants to respond. Let's see if the government wants to respond now, or once the result has been achieved, and what will that result be? We'll of course be reporting on that story. Professor Gaurav Vallabh and Raghav Avasthi, many thanks for joining me. I've run out of time on this show. Many thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.